You can spend weeks writing a business plan for a business that will never work, because by the time you start filling in the template, most of the important decisions have already been made. You've decided who the customer is, what you're going to sell to them, how you'll sell it, and roughly what you'll charge. But nobody's shown you how to check whether those decisions actually fit together. And if they don't, all the planning in the world won't save the business. So forget the business plan for now. In this video, I'm going to show you how to design the business first and see whether it works on paper before you try to build it. So every business has 4 main design areas: customer, product, price, and profit. And if those 4 pieces don't fit together, the business will fail. Or if they fit together but not very well, it might stagger on without ever fulfilling its potential. And most good business people know this, but they know it instinctively from years of experience, which doesn't help you when you're starting out, which is why I've written it down. And I'm here showing you how it works. If you can see the screen, the first 3 design areas are customer, product, and price. These are the parts you'd see in any traditional business model. Because one way or another, every business needs something to sell, someone to sell it to, and a way to make money from it. I expect that's clear enough. But there's a 4th design area, which is profit. It's there because every decision you make about the business model affects profit. So by including it in the model, the financial effect of all your decisions is immediately visible. Now, still keeping it simple, each design area has 2 design decisions. These are the specific things you have to decide, and they're exactly the same for any business. Next, and very important, every decision you make in these 4 areas affects all your other decisions, which means the model is an integrated system, 4 moving parts that have to fit together. And if you change one, you potentially change them all. And if that sounds complicated, it's not. It's how businesses have always worked. And if you learn this, you'll know in 10 minutes what it takes most people 30 years to understand. So now you've got the 4 design areas and 8 design decisions. All you need then is a business to map onto the model so you can see whether the pieces fit together. If they do, you've got something worth taking further. For a simple business, I could probably do that in an hour. Just a rough outline, but that's the best way to begin. So looking back to the model, you can start anywhere, but if you started with the customer design area, you can see the 2 decisions. First is who the target customer will be, then how you intend to position the business to make them choose you. For example, should your business be the cheapest or the best, the fastest or the most reliable? What would they value most? And remember, whatever you decide about positioning will have to be implemented in the other design areas. In the product design area, you decide exactly what your product or service will be, and then the customer journey. So technically, the customer journey is the whole customer experience, from first contact with your business through to after sales, and keeping in touch. But start with the main sales channel, maybe a shop or mobile business or a website. You don't have to figure everything out in your first pass. You just need enough to test later whether the system you're designing will hold together at the end. For the price decision area, you decide how you'll monetize your product or service. Will you sell it, rent it, take a commission? Then, how will you calculate your price? This could be a fixed price, based on costs, based on the value you provide, or some other metric. There are dozens of ways to design every part in the system. And finally, profit. From the decisions you've already made, you should have a good idea of your cost structure and how much you'd need to sell to make a profit. I've put together a simple spreadsheet you can download to help with this. The calculations will be very rough to start with, but the point is to help you start seeing how every decision you make affects profit. Let me show you with an example. A friend of mine knew a lawyer who decided to retire, and for a retirement project he bought a coffee shop. But almost as soon as he had the keys in his hands, he started making changes. He could not help himself. First, he redecorated. Then he changed the brand of coffee. Then all the old customers stopped coming. So as you might imagine, when I heard what he'd done, my question was, why on earth did he pay $300,000 for that shop if he was just going to change everything? True story. Because when you buy a business, you're paying for its assets and its future profits. So in this case, the lawyer's $300,000 was buying the shop fit out, which he immediately changed, and its customers who he managed to drive away because they didn't like what he'd done. That cost him a year of profit until new customers found the place. Now think about that story while looking at my model. What did the lawyer actually do? What he did was change almost everything in the product design area. He changed the product itself, which was the coffee, and the customer journey, because when he updated the decor, the whole atmosphere changed. But if you change your product, you can't assume the same customers will still want it, which they didn't. They stopped coming, which meant the profit disappeared as well. And that's the point. All the parts have to fit together. And if you change one part of the design, it is quite possible, even likely, that something else will be affected. And although none of this is a secret, most people never think about businesses as systems. The lawyer just thought he was making things better. He didn't know that changing one thing could change everything else. But once you see it, I'm hoping that you can't unsee it. Because once the logic is visible, it's not difficult to work with. And the alternative is guessing, which is what most people do. They decide what they want to sell, set up the business, and find out whether it works by running it. So if you'd like your own free copy of the design method, there's a link below. And if you'd like to see exactly how to test whether your model is working, you need my next video about the sufficiency test. Bye for now.